After days lost in shadows, Tessa and Nate found each other amid life's storm, not in a cold closet, but under Vermont's forgiving glow. From spilled coffee and a crumpled manuscript, love bloomed from ashes. He kissed her, not to erase the past, but to sketch their future. A misunderstanding once tore them apart, yet love mended it, sweet and everlasting. Welcome, dear family, to Soul and Love Stories. How are you today? May your heart blaze with love, your eyes sparkle with hope, and your soul hum with beautiful tales. Wherever you are, you're not alone. I'm here with you, chasing true love. Let's light a prayer. God of love, touch every heart today. Ignite their passion, heal their wounds, and guide them to destined love stories. May unexpected joy turn sorrow to smiles, and love bloom forever. Amen. Soul and Love Stories family. Did you love Tessa and Nate's journey? We're building a home for love, aiming for 1,000 subscribers. A dream to unite 1,000 souls. One subscribe from you brings us closer. Step into the next tale with me. Tessa Carter wasn't the type to daydream about Manhattan's skyscrapers. She just wanted to survive each day in Brooklyn, where electric bills were scarier than horror movies. At 23, she worked as a temp assistant at Sterling and Company, a massive media conglomerate, with two clear goals: earning money to support her 15-year-old brother, Joey, and writing a novel to escape her struggling life. Today, she skipped lunch to buy Joey a literature book, whispering to him over the phone, "Read this, stop gaming all day." Joey chuckled half-heartedly. "You're like my second mom." Tessa shrugged, stepping into the gleaming glass building, arms clutching a towering stack of files, her worn sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. Sterling and Cohen was the kingdom of Nathaniel Nate Sterling, 34, a cold CEO dubbed the Ice King by all of New York. In a fitted navy suit, black hair swept back, and piercing gray eyes, Nate was the kind of man who made employees tremble with a single glance. This morning he stood in the lobby, coffee in hand, when a Manhattan Pulse reporter rushed up. "Mr. Sterling, they say you dodge personal interviews. Hiding something?" Nate's jaw tightened, voice curt. "I don't like being pried into. Work's all that matters." He turned away, leaving the reporter dumbfounded, thinking, they don't need to know who I am outside this office. It was the ice wall he'd built. No one dared cross it. Among hundreds of temp assistants, Tessa was nothing special, until she unwittingly wrecked Nate's day. Near noon, she was tasked with brewing coffee for a high-level meeting. Facing a machine as complex as a spaceship, she muttered, "Why doesn't this have an easy button?" Guessing blindly, she dumped in too much sugar, then carried the steaming cup into the boardroom. Nate, mid-strategy talk with the execs, took a sip and froze. His face scrunched like he'd bitten a lemon, but instead of snapping, he smirked, eyeing Tessa. "How'd you make this?" Blushing, she stammered, I thought you liked it sweet, sir." The room went dead silent. Then a soft chuckle broke through. The first time anyone saw the Ice King laugh. Milo, the chatty barista from the company pantry, watched from afar and dashed to Tessa afterward. "What did you do?" "Spill more coffee on the Ice King. He's melting already." Tessa rolled her eyes. "I just want to survive the day, not crush on the CEO." But Milo winked. "Don't bet on it. I saw that look in his eyes." She waved him off, returning to her desk, heart beating faster for no reason she could name. She pulled out her notebook, jotting lines about a mysterious tycoon, unaware that Nate would soon step into her story in a way no one could predict. From the top floor, Nate gazed over Manhattan, still holding the sickly sweet coffee. He thought, that clumsy girl. Odd. Outside, car horns blared, but within them both, a spark had flickered. Tiny, silly, and quite possibly the start of everything. After the sickly sweet coffee fiasco, Tessa Carter resolved to stay quiet and steer clear of Nathaniel Nate Sterling's radar. But fate, or rather her clumsiness, had other plans. One Tuesday afternoon, tasked with emailing a meeting notice to the entire board, Tessa's mind drifted to her unfinished novel. She accidentally attached a short story snippet instead of the schedule, a scene of a mysterious tycoon kissing a girl in the rain. The email went out, And 5 minutes later, she realized her blunder when Milo, the pantry barista, dashed to her desk, laughing hysterically. Tessa, you just sent a kissing scene to the whole company. Crushing on the Ice King now, huh? Tessa went pale, slamming the table. It was a mistake. I'm so fired. But instead of a pink slip, she was summoned to Nate's office. Tessa trudged in, bracing for a tongue lashing from the Ice King. Nate sat behind his desk, the printed story in front of him. He looked at her, voice dry. You wrote this? Tessa nodded, stammering. Yes, I didn't mean to send it, sir. Sorry. Nate smirked, his second smile that week, and slid the draft back. Not bad. Next time, send the right schedule. He thought, this girl's odd. She's not scared of me. Tessa blushed, clutching the paper and bolting, heart pounding. He didn't yell at me? From then on, Nate started noticing Tessa more, though he masked it with his icy demeanor. One morning, she brought files to the boardroom, hands trembling as she dropped the stack on the floor. Nate bent to help, their fingers brushing. He held her hand a beat too long, gray eyes softening for a second before he stood as if nothing happened. Tessa mumbled, Sorry, sir, I'm so clumsy. Nate replied, I'm used to it. Milo, lurking by the door, winked at her later. Spill coffee on him next. Right on the suit. I bet he likes you. Tessa swatted him. Stop it. I just want to survive here. But small moments kept creeping in. One day, Nate passed the pantry, spotting Tessa scribbling her story in a corner during break. She hid her notebook, startled, but he paused, asking, How's the coffee today? Tessa blinked. Not too sweet, sir. He nodded. Better than last time. Milo butted in. Is he asking about coffee or you? Total crush vibes. Tessa kicked him under the table, face flaming, unable to deny her heart skipping a beat. Nate walked off, thinking, why do I keep wanting to hear her nonsense? By weekend, Tessa got caught writing during downtime in an empty boardroom. Nate walked in, picked up her forgotten draft, and skimmed a passage. The tycoon now had gray eyes like his. He smiled a third time, a new record, and left it with a note. Keep writing. Back home, Tessa told Joey, I messed up everything, so why hasn't he fired me? Joey teased, 'Cause you're a good writer or 'cause he likes you? Tessa tossed a pillow at him, but inside a warm spark flickered, and maybe in Nate too. That Friday night, Sterling and Company glittered with its grandest charity gala at the Manhattan headquarters. Tessa Carter, in her temp assistant uniform, scurried around with a coffee tray, desperately avoiding another spill. She'd survived a week without blunders in front of Nathaniel Nate Sterling, a personal record. But as she passed the VIP corner, her ears caught a hushed exchange between Lydia, the jealous PR head, and another exec. Nate's secret charity fund, millions no one knows about. It's enough to ruin him, Lydia hissed, venom dripping. If the press gets this, he's done. Tessa froze, the tray wobbling. He donates in secret? I have to warn him. Heart racing, she bolted to the top floor, where Nate was prepping his speech. She pounded on his office door. No answer. Pushing it open, she stopped dead. Clothes strewn on a chair, water running from the private bathroom. He's showering. Before she could back out, urgent knocks echoed behind her. Lydia's icy voice. Nate, we need to talk now. Panic surged. Tessa scanned the room, then dove into the massive wardrobe by his desk, yanking the door shut, whispering, Don't let her see me. Inside, Tessa huddled among navy suits scented with sandalwood, holding her breath as her pulse thundered. The office door creaked open. Not Lydia, but Nate, fresh from the shower, a towel barely clinging to his hips. Through a crack, she glimpsed his wet hair dripping, his chiseled frame, his gray eyes scanning suspiciously. Who knocked? He muttered. Tessa's foot slipped, clanging a hanger with a faint crash. Nate whipped around, flinging the wardrobe open, and froze, staring at her curled up, face tomato red. What are you doing in my closet? Nate's low voice held no anger, only shock. Eyes squeezed shut, Tessa squeaked. I didn't see anything, sir. I came to warn you. He stepped closer, the tight space making his towel teeter. Warn me? Hiding like this? You sure? She peeked, his breath grazing her hair, inches away. Stammering, she blurted, Lydia, she knows about the charity. She's plotting against you. Before he could reply, his foot slipped on the wet floor, lurching him forward. Tessa yelped, grabbing his shoulders, and in that chaotic instant, their lips crashed together. The kiss was sudden, clumsy, irresistible, a mix of raw tension and sweetness amid suit fabric and pounding hearts. Nate yanked his towel secure, coughing as he straightened. Let's pretend you didn't scream. Tessa, flushed, shoved him out of the closet. I didn't see anything either, sir. But Lydia's serious. He cut in. I'll handle it. You. His gray eyes flickered. Knock louder next time. She nodded, fleeing the room, hands over her face. I just kissed the CEO in a closet? Oh my God. Alone, Nate stood still, thinking, she just shattered every boundary I've got. Why don't I hate it? In the hall, Tessa sprinted to the pantry where Milo waited. Where have you been? Your face is red. He prodded. She hissed. Don't ask. I just got into huge trouble. But deep down, she knew. The trouble wasn't just Lydia, but the strange thrill Nate had sparked in her. After the unexpected kiss in the closet, Tessa Carter didn't know whether to flee or face Nathaniel Nate Sterling. But for the first time, Nate seemed unwilling to keep his distance. Monday morning, he summoned her to his office, voice as dry as ever. Miss Carter, I need you to review the charity files. Lydia's not trustworthy. Tessa nodded, cheeks blazing, thinking, is he bringing up the closet? From there, they slipped into a strange rhythm. Nate invited her to secret lunches in an empty boardroom, pretending to discuss work, though his gaze lingered longer than necessary. Once he handed her a sandwich. Stop skipping meals. I heard you on the phone with your brother yesterday. Tessa blinked, startled. Sir, you eavesdropped? Nate smirked. Just passing by. He thought, she makes me want to break all my rules. Milo, the pantry barista, caught on fast. Tessa, lunch with the Ice King? Official crush alert. She kicked him under the table. Shut it. It's just work. But she couldn't deny her racing pulse when Nate's eyes met hers, or how he held her hand, a beat too long passing files. One day after a charity meeting, they rode the hotel elevator alone. Nate stood closer than usual, whispering, You're better than I thought, Tessa. She smiled awkwardly. And you're less icy than I figured, sir. Unseen, Lydia lurked in a far corner, snapping a blurry photo, a sly grin curling her lips. The storm broke Wednesday. Lydia leaked the shot to Manhattan Pulse. CEO Sterling cozy with temp assistant in elevator. The press exploded. The board called an emergency meeting. Tessa hovered outside, overhearing Nate grilled. What's this relationship? How's it impacting the company? Under pressure, he replied coldly. She's just an employee, nothing more. These rumors are baseless. Tessa stood stunned, clutching her story draft in her pocket. Milo rushed over, whispering, What did he say? You okay? She forced a smile. Fine. I'm used to being a nobody. But inside, pain stabbed. He's too scared to love me openly. That afternoon, Tessa slid her resignation onto Nate's desk, voice trembling. If you're afraid to love me in front of others, I don't want your love in the dark. Nate looked up, gray eyes flickering, but he stayed silent, the weight of the board and media crushing him. Tears streamed as Tessa walked out of Sterling and Company. Milo chased her. You're really leaving? Don't let the Ice King win that easy. She shook her head. It's not about winning, Milo. I just don't want to be anyone's secret. In the empty office, Nate sat alone, holding Tessa's resignation. He thought, I saved the company but lost her. The dumbest thing I've ever done. Outside, Manhattan buzzed, but for the first time, the Ice King felt truly cold. Not from the world, but from within. Tessa stepped from the building, draft in hand, resolved to rewrite their story. Not to hold on, but to let go. Tessa Carter returned to her rundown Brooklyn apartment, heart heavy after leaving Sterling and Company. She slumped on the worn sofa, staring at the donut socks Milo once teased as crush evidence with Nate. Now just a faded memory. Joey, her brother, shuffled in from the kitchen, holding a loaf of bread. "What's wrong? You look like you got fired." Tessa sighed. "I quit before they could." "Done waiting." Joey frowned. "Because of that Ice King guy? You're way better than him. Don't mope over someone too scared to keep you." She gave a sad smile. "Thanks, kid, but I need to forget it all." She grabbed her notebook, determined to rewrite their brief romance into a novel. Behind the closet door, a way to let go. Days later, Tessa poured herself into the pages, turning Nate into a towel-clad tycoon. Joey peeked over, bursting out laughing. "You made him a shirtless hero? Genius. It'll sell out." Blushing, she chucked a pillow at him. "Stop teasing. I'm writing this to forget him." But each line stirred memories. Nate's gray eyes over lunch, their elevator hand brush, the closet kiss. She paused, muttering, "I'm mad at him. Why can't I stop remembering?" Joey sat beside her, rare seriousness in his voice. "You really liked him, but if he doesn't value you, let him go. You're worth more." Tessa hugged him, tears falling quietly. "I'll try." In Manhattan, Nate Sterling sat in his empty office, Tessa's resignation glaring from his desk. Since she left, his smiles vanished. The Ice King was truly frozen now. He opened a leather journal, writing nightly. Day 1, I didn't know losing her would feel this bad. Day 5, company's fine, I'm not. Day 10, I was wrong, Tessa. He thought, I thought protecting the company mattered most, but losing her's my biggest failure. One night, he packed the journal with a key to a Vermont cabin, a creative retreat he'd dreamed of, and sent it to Brooklyn anonymously, hoping she'd read it. 2 weeks later, a package arrived at Tessa's door. She opened it, hands trembling as she found the journal and key, reading Nate's words. Day 15. You made me want to thaw, but I wasn't brave enough. I'm sorry. She sank down, whispering, He really regrets it? Joey leaned over. This guy writes better than you. Go see him. At least kick him once. Tessa laughed, her first in days. I don't know, Joey. But I want to go to Vermont. She wasn't sure what she sought, forgiveness or closure, but her wounded heart still raced at the thought of Nate. At Sterling and Company, Milo brewed coffee, grumbling, Tessa's gone, and the Ice King doesn't come down anymore. So dull. In Brooklyn, Tessa held the key, thinking, I'm angry, but why do I still want to hear him out? She stood, tucking behind the closet door into her bag, ready for a trip with an unknown end. But this time, she'd write her own conclusion. Tessa Carter drove to Vermont, behind the closet door, manuscript in her bag, heart torn between hope and doubt. She unlocked the cabin with Nate's key, a cozy space fragrant with pine, filled with his unreleased designs and a writing desk set just for her. She whispered, When did he do this? Before she could ponder further, the door swung open. Nate stood there, not in his navy suit, but a simple sweater, gray eyes brimming with worry. I wasn't sure you'd come, he said. Tessa replied, Neither was I, but I wanted to hear you. They sat, no longer CEO and assistant, but Nate and Tessa, two souls bearing their truths. He took her hand. I was a fool to deny you. I feared the public, losing the company, but losing you was worse. She smiled faintly. You wrote better than me in that journal. Nate flushed. I learned from you. They laughed, walls crumbling, and for the first time he kissed her slowly. Tender, honest. A month later, Tessa's book launch in Manhattan buzzed with a packed crowd. Joey, front row, winked. You picked a good one, sis. She stepped on stage, sharing the journey of Behind the Closet Door. Then Nate appeared, mic in hand. Your story's yours, but I'd love to write the next chapter with you, as my wife. He knelt, offering a ring. Tessa gasped. Oh my God, are you serious? Then nodded. Yes. The room erupted in applause. Joey whistled. Nailed it, bro-in-law. Their wedding unfolded at the Vermont cabin, small and warm. Tessa wore a plain white dress, Nate a sweater. No Ice King left. Joey teased. You didn't make him sing at the ceremony? Tessa laughed. Next time. They danced amid laughter, no hiding, no closets between them. She whispered, "From one closet hideout, I got you." Nate kissed her forehead. "My best mistake ever." Under Vermont's sun, they began a new chapter. A love in the light, as sweet as the tale she'd penned. That's the end of Tessa and Nate's tale. From a cramped closet to a sunlit love in Vermont, as sweet as a spilled coffee turned romance. Did you melt at Nate's proposal or laugh when Joey dubbed him bro-in-law? Soul and Love Stories family, I'd love to hear your favorite moment. Drop it in the comments below. If this journey warmed your heart, hit that like button to light up our day and share it with your crew who'd swoon over a love like this. We're chasing 1,000 subscribers, a dream to unite 1,000 souls in love's glow. And your subscribe could be the spark we need. Click that button, join us, and let's keep spinning these soulful tales together. See you in the next story.